as we go through the middle of the lap.
And well, it's Pulse SimSport have been split up with Watson leading and Austin in third position here. And Watson has, well, he's really building up that lead. Durkop is quite far back now. It'll be 2-3 car lengths as now we go to Shalecki in the Shalecki, Shalecki in the 610 car. The McLaren right on the rear end of our AMS leader of Knowles. Not much separating them here as we go around to complete our first lap now.
First lap done, and maybe quite a few more to go. Nothing is over yet. You cannot win the race on the first lap, folks. You can solidify your position and make sure you do everything right to put yourself in a good chance to do so, but there's still an hour and 28 to go.
As well, both our silver and amateur leaders right together on circuit, 4th and 5th overall. Very impressive by the both of them as we come through the first couple of sections of corners. Now the McLaren kind of just not really close enough yet to maybe attempt to move. It's going to be very tricky on this circuit, very fast and flowing, but also tight, so it's going to be hard for that McLaren to try and find his way past the amateur leader.
Indeed, there is something pinging up on my screen saying there's a bit of a accident between Gojo Scott and Shahibi, and it is fantastic because Ben22 Racing has resubscribed for 29 months. That is just shy of 2.5 years. Keep it as perspective.
Oh wow,
that is something. Ben22 Racing, thank you very much for dropping by. Thank you for the resubscription, and you are on a hell of a streak, good sir.
So the interesting thing now is we have the silver and the amateur leaders together right now, and obviously they're both in a really good position in class. So how hard do they fight this? Because the next silver car is in 9th position and the next amateur car is in 10th, so they can afford maybe to let some of these pro cars through, but they are racers, so I don't think that's really an option. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide as the McLaren coming into turn 1 now is right on the rear of that Porsche. Is he going to dive to the inside? He is. He's going to the inside, and the Porsche turns in. Inches between them as we exit turn 1 now, and really the McLaren being very cautious here, very wise, as we have these two leaders fighting out.
We'll see what happens. They're holding station for now, and I do think that that McLaren didn't really appreciate his nose being chopped off by the Porsche. Nonetheless, they still continue in what is very treacherous conditions. No sign of the weather letting off either. Rain forecast for at least the next half an hour. So keep on your coats and put up those umbrellas, folks. We're committed for the rain to stay for at least the next for the first third of the race.
And this is four-way battle now for 4th position overall. 2 class leaders in this battle as well, and it's really everyone's kind of struggling to find a way through at the moment. But it's been very impressive by our drivers at the moment. These very tricky conditions, but we have seen very little mistakes at the moment. So great job by everyone in these first 5 minutes of the race.
Absolutely right. Whilst we just take a minute to have a breather, let's check back on what happened at the first lap. And I think that replay doesn't really truly show what happened to Jungen then on the opening lap. I'm not sure if he made contact with another car. Oh, there's another incident in the background.
Yeah,
that's a massive one.
Oh, that is.
That was even more.
Oh, and there's another one. That's Res. I think that's.
Oh wow!
I know.
What happened?
We missed quite a big one there, didn't we?
That was a massive incident. The first lap. We missed it.
That explains the very jumbled up order at the moment, as now the Porsche is kind of getting a bit further away now from the McLaren.
Absolutely, that all happened on the first lap. I'm going to try and see if we can get a replay of what happened in the midfield there. We're going to try and see if Daniel Tomlinson can shed any light on that first lap incident. So he's coming up into the first turn now. The Dutch Endurance Team car rejoins just ahead of him. and then it all kicks off. There was a Porsche and a BMW potentially, and then they all go into this next turn, and they're already spinning, and it's just a car park. Oh wow!
Oh, that is a very expensive pile up there. Millions and millions of pounds of cars, just
Never nice
getting
to see a very expensive car park, and I'm sure the parking valet would be fired if they did a job like that.
Yeah, indeed. As now very late on the brakes is the McLaren right on the rear of the Porsche yet again, but no way through for the McLaren. Look at it, they're breathing down the back of the Porsche as we head into the final couple of corners here, and the Porsche seems to have, actually no, tie line from the McLaren through there, but the Porsche seems to be opening up the gap again, so there isn't, as he goes maybe a bit wide, having to let off around the final turn there. Is that giving the McLaren an opportunity down into turn 1 here? Let's have a look on board with the McLaren now. I don't think there is. It's the wet conditions just too wet, not worth risking it this early in the race. Now we're in 22 minutes to go, but yeah, just the McLaren seems a bit faster in some sections, and then the Porsche is faster in the others, so not really the speed for the McLaren to get past the Porsche yet at the moment, as they're both taking very different lines. Porsche going a bit wider as the McLaren takes the corners very tightly, and now right on the rear of that Porsche. I think it's only a matter of time before the purple McLaren goes ahead.
Shiva Winters, there's a repeat of Macau. Yes, I can absolutely understand that reference. That lap one, it just screamed car park, cars against the walls, nowhere to go. I was very surprised it actually did get going again, and didn't, kind of cause a bigger pile up. But yeah, no doubt the stewards will be kept busy with that this evening, and there is live stewarding tonight, and they would have seen that, and I believe I'm going to be quite keen to try and pick their way through whatever the hell happened there, as we do see. Oh, we do have a yellow flag. Is that Autogren dropping down the order? It is.
Oh, and backwards again, trying to get back on the circuit.
Dropping massively. What happened to them? We'll just quickly jump to a replay as they go through the fast downhill right-hander. I have a feeling it might involve the curb.
Maybe a bit of a Logan Sargent moment.
It was sausage curb.
And then he's taken straight to the scene of the accident, but it's keeping out the wall, so hopefully, I assume there won't be any damage to that car, and then spins,
tries to get it going again, but can't get it going, sadly. But we are now back with live photos. Down in 28th is Autogren now, from about a 14th or 30th position that he was in, sadly. Zalecki and Knowles. Zalecki has made the move.
Zalecki down the inside there into turn 3, and now Zalecki needs to try and get away from Knowles, and it looks like he's doing that, but Knowles is a very fast section here, so we'll maybe benefit from some sort of slipstream as they head now into turn 6. Oh no, 7, I beg your pardon, as there's nothing really separating these two, is there at all? The McLaren taking a bit more of the inside curbing there, but looking to extend the gap now from the amateur leader is our silver leader of Solenki.
Yeah, now Luke Sherlock down in 18th was showing as a yellow flag very briefly, car 119. Let's see if we can just see what happened with him. Oh wow! He went bunny hopping in the McLaren across the curb, and that gave the Porsche a position. No, he was able to defend, but very brief yellow flag there.
I was going to say, it reminded me a bit of Colin McRae there. He looked more like a rally car, getting how much airtime they got over that curb.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt his virtual spine will be absolutely shattered by that impact. Another yellow flag, and that Team Relentless, Christopher Bonek, off. Is that the final turn? I think it is.
Yes, I believe you're right. Well, it's just before the entry to just at the entry of the final turn there, as Bonek is now kind of just falling like an absolute rock through the field.
Well, I see what happened. I have a feeling. Yep, it was curb, meat wall, and that is gonna cause a very huge amount of damage to the front of that McLaren. It is keeping it going though. 17th was about 11th or 12th, and keeps it ahead of Luke Sherlock, and there's a small gaggle of cars behind him as well. Alan Berens as well, so those 3 cars will be wanting to see if they can get past him there, but we'll jump back up to the more of a midfield battle. Jerome Jongen recovering, makes contact with third.
Oh, look, great save there by Jongen in the Dutch endurance team Ferrari there. That could have ended so much worse for him there. It has now lost out to Shabby in the 8th Mercedes, but a very, very good save from both drivers.
Very, very lucky there. What is Jerome Jongen? Let's see if we can get that on a quick replay. We'll see him come down the fast right-hander. I think he might have just slightly out-braked himself, so he goes into the first right-hander there, and I think he's going to try it on the inside, brakes a little bit late, and then just makes contact.
Luckily, the McLaren is pushed a little bit wide by that, but luckily stays on the circuit, and then obviously Jongen catches that save. So very a little mistake, but luckily both drivers getting away with it at the moment as we head into turn 1 with this 4-way battle now for 10th position.
That is indeed. Further down the order though, Greg Prescott has lost about 4 positions from 20th down to 24th. Was showing as a yellow flag.
It looked like he rejoined from the was rejoining the circuit on the last corner there, so maybe ran a bit wide, and there's a Ferrari outbraking themselves as well, and yeah, just gone a bit wide at the second to last corner, back on the circuit, but going very, very slowly in this fast section, so has lost out quite a bit there. But may have regained 1 position there, as I definitely saw Ferrari running wide and 2 tyres across the gravel into turn 1.
It's probably this Ferrari here, Julian Reinars from Reinars Motorsports. And sadly probably going a little bit deep into the corner and giving the position back to Prescott.
Prescott sliding that Porsche around up ahead, just going through, I believe that was turn 7 there, just kind of had a little bit of the back end out, kind of just sliding right on the limit through there as we are following Reiners in the 83 Ferrari battle for 23rd position. Prescott up ahead, but then also has to think about the silver runner, of course, in the 45 Ferrari up behind him.
Absolutely. Dutch driver, Dutch team, home track for them. So was hit. Prescott have to cut the corner and take avoiding action, and they have a bit of a messy rejoin.
Sorry, that was very close between Prescott and Cross there as he rejoined the circuit, just millimetres separating both their tyres there, and that could have ended a whole lot worse. But Reiners' race really going well. This lap has been one to forget for sure.
Absolutely, and I think if it's their home race, a Dutch racing team as well, based with Dutch drivers, a mixture of drivers as well in that team, but most predominantly Dutch. This will be their home race. Sadly, can't really, at this point in time, not able to capitalise upon it. Pit window is open, folks, and it will be open until 5 minutes of the race is left, so it gives a very easy and good opportunity for anyone to try and figure out their strategy, as long as they make their pit stop within this pit window, which is most of the race. They'll be a-okay, and they do have to do a driver change though as part of that stop to satisfy the mandatory pit stop to avoid getting a penalty at the end of the race.
I
believe it's fuel and tyres as well. I must add, but yes, they do have to do a mandatory pit stop to a set criteria.
I believe it's not. I believe it's just tyres. Let me just double check that. Yes, just mandatory tyre change.
Oh, spicy. They do have teams in here this evening, and indeed most of these teams do have 2 drivers online on the lobby this evening, and they'll be figuring out what to do and getting their strategy calls right. And I think the only way up for Team Reinars at this point is to just keep their head down and see what they can do.
15-second penalty for the hashtag 27 car, so that's parking just behind Reiner's here in the Aston Martin.
Yeah. Oh, another 15-second penalty for 27. So he's got 30 seconds worth of penalties.
So maybe I'm not sure, but was there an Aston off in the first corner incident? So maybe something to do with that.
I do wonder if Mr. Parkin was the cause of that calamity after turn 1.
And well, that's not going to be good for them. Very only an hour and 13 minutes into the race. That's Wood in the wall, and now spinning backwards on. Oh no, spinning the right way onto straight. Sorry, I got a bit lost there. But down in 28th position. Oh no, 29th now, falling through the field.
Indeed, 30 seconds penalty for car 3. 45-second penalties.
Oh my goodness gracious! That is, I think that's one of the largest ones I've seen for. Well, yeah, the whole time I've been doing this. I mean, that's not been very long, but yeah, indeed. So that is best. That's second. Yes, that is second place in the silver class. The number 3 McLaren here, Apex Driving School. So
that's not great.
That is going to drop them very, very far back into our field here. Currently fighting with 4 up ahead and has Shabby and Jongen behind. 5-second penalty for the 610 car. So that's Solenki. That's the leader of our silver class. 5-second penalty for Solenki. And what? Really, the stewards taking no one mercy here. And well, really, everything is changing. And that silver class for sure is definitely going to be changing now, as we have both the top 2 cars with a 45-second penalty and a 5-second penalty.
So Lucky might have got away with that. He's going to be lucky to potentially walk away just 5 seconds. His nearest competitor is Ralph Vest in the car 3. Do have a penalty for 690, which is Reynard Reza, sadly currently in last place. And so he will. Oh, yellow flag. That's Greg Prescott.
Greg Prescott, and that's not a place you want to be off in turn 7 there on the outside of the circuit, luckily, so not on the racing line, but still with sideways portion of the circuit will be, you won't want anyone to go too wide around there now. Luckily now Prescott off the circuit and rejoining, but it's on the racing line in a very fast section, but there you go, he's got underway.
He's got a gap, he's fine, he's got a gap about 10 seconds to the car behind him now, so he's doing okay. Penalties coming in thick and fast now. Car number 8 has a penalty, and that is Alex Shahibi in P12. He's got 5 seconds, so I'm presuming the stewards are catching up as the car rejoins very closely in front of, that was Ralph Vest, the Porsche, getting his nose cut off there, I think is potentially the Porsche of Jurglis. We're just waiting for the timing screens to update so we can actually say who that is. It actually might be a lap down. I think it's a car that is actually a lap down. So we've just seen the blue flags being waved by the marshals on the side of the circuit. And yes, we'll see if they can get through that. 79? What's happened to 79? That's Jongen. Jerome Jongen. P13. Dutch Endurance Team. 15-second penalty.
Oh, well, that is another... Well, just everyone seems to be getting penalties at the moment with, well, most of our, well, a 13th, 12th and 11th all have penalties. 4th has a penalty, and, well, we're going to really see a change now. And that's the top 3 now of the silver category. So the silver class is really going to be shaken up now. All the top 3 with penalties. I think Shalenki should be okay as car 114 gets a 15-second penalty. So that's Alan
in P19 currently. That's P4 in the hands.
Yes, indeed it is. So, well, it's going to be very, very shaken up after our pit stops here, after these penalties are served, and this whole field is really going to be. Well, it's just going to be an absolute mismatch of positions for everyone, as we are following Vest with the 45-second penalty. These guys are all still fighting it out as Shubi goes up the inside, lapping the Porsche that's gone a lap down. 5-second penalty for car 79 now.
79, who in the world is 79? That is someone. I can tell you that much. It's manically going up. That's Jungen. That's Jungen again.
Yeah, Jungen again. Dutch Endurance Team Red.
Yeah, he is. He's got 20 seconds worth of penalties to serve at his pit stop.
So, wow, this is all changing here at the moment. Second in the silver class, 45 seconds. Third in the silver class has got 20 seconds. So, that whole class is going to be flipped on its head. Broncos is in a prime position here. I'd say Goodyear Scott here is in a prime position as well. So, it's all going to be change in the field. Now, as around the outside tries Johan around the outside of Vest here in the McLaren. Both with a mammoth amount of penalties, and here as we go down into this section of corners, turn 11 and 12 into 12 now. Both of these guys, they may have penalties, but they are still fighting for everything here at the moment. Just Vest is saying just ahead of the Ferrari, but the Ferrari is there. He's right up behind the McLaren at the moment. Both still, they may have penalties. They may find themselves quite out of the race in their class and overall, but they are still out here to enjoy themselves. They still want to fight for every single position as they lap the Porsche now going into turn 1, and a 15-second penalty for 348 is that there. So
it is 348 is Autoglen down in 26th, so he's gonna
the bushes
drop Stone pretty much down to Stone last at his pit stops. But it's coming thick and fast, and I think we're just trying to catch up basically with what happened at the start of the race, and I'm sure the stewards are going to be kept busy for the last 66 minutes and 45 seconds. Just had to do a bit of mental arithmetic on the fly there, as that's shaken up the order completely.
It'll be extremely interesting to see what our field looks like after the stops. I know I keep saying that, but it will be indeed. As the Ferrari, gets really close up to the rear end of the McLaren. They're just not making contact. But these two are seriously pushing now. They have to really try and get the effect of those penalties down. There's another 5-7 penalty for, it's that car 8?
Shahibi.
Yeah, Shahibi again. So that's another penalty for Shahibi. Up to 10 seconds now.
These guys are being a bit naughty. Stewards aren't taking a liking.
Stop and go for stop and go for 17 cleared.
17's got 17 had a stop and go places, so obviously served that. That's Nick Manders all the way down in last place. Possible track limit infringements. The game will give you a drive-through if you extend the track or take advantage of the track limits a bit too much on I think it's 3 chances, and then that's it. 15 seconds for 690. Who's 690?
Cute and Round Racing.
That's a Reynard Reza, all the way down to 30th. So he's gonna, is it he? Reynard Reza? I presume it's the he. He's gonna definitely sadly drop down to last position. Well, I think Nick Manders is even a lap down on Reza, who's actually a lap down on the lead. So 2 laps then up for this Manders at this point, less than.
And it's not it's not a good weekend for them as well. Currently 5th in the pro class at the moment, only around 6 points behind the car ahead in their class, and 15-second penalty for car 8. So is that Shahibi again? Yes, it is. 25-second penalty. Shahibi, sorry.
Oh my goodness. I can't math right now. I'm struggling to comprehend where these guys are going to be after the pit stops. We would presume that Jungen will be the one that can capitalise out of this battle, but they're just going to drop down the order completely. So Bloomquist, Scott, potentially even Bonek. 888. There's got time penalty as well. That's Berens P19, who's just been overtaken or is fighting with Zach Silver as they go down into the final chicane. There's a move up the optimistic move on the inside. 777.
Burns, Alan. Oh wait, was that the Ferrari? So was that
That was
Cross in the
Udi
front?
trying to unlap
Udi.
himself.
Oh dearie me, he's going to be in a bit of trouble there. Then you do not want to make contact with the car or the faster car. So definitely very naughty by him there, making a bit of contact with Buren there as we go to a replay. Obviously up ahead we have the McLaren fighting with the Audi, and well, the Ferrari just behind him. Does he they outbrake themselves? Yes, they go on the grass, and that's just completely meant they are unable to stop for turn 11 there, and just are unable to avoid the McLaren of Buren. And well, that's not what you want to do at all.
Just side note as well, car 27 has got a penalty as well. That's parking. 30 seconds for parking.
So that is Racing Stronger, Racing Stronger 27 car.
Jeez, yeah.
I believe they already had a penalty as well, so I think that's just been added on.
Oh god.
I mean, it's like, I mean, look, if we look at our timing screen at the moment, it's like a Christmas tree of penalties. It's like, well, I mean, we're celebrating a bit early. We're not at Halloween yet, but gosh, at the moment, our field is an absolute, well, it's like a bingo card. It's going to be completely random after this.
House, line. No, wrong place, wrong time. We're about 1 hour to go. I think it's about time we check in with our leaders. We'll give you a quick rundown of the current standings. Watson still leading from Florian Durkop. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. And Team LFM was very, very squirrely on the grass there, but gets away with it in the McLaren. Leighton Austin in P3 sadly couldn't be the wingman for Watson, but still is bringing in a good result so far in third position. Zalecki of oNiD Racing in fourth position. Ollie Knowles, Prototypo Racing, Prototypo. I'm so sorry for saying that wrong. Is in fifth place. Holman of oNiD Racing Stronger in sixth. Zone Angel in seventh. Cronus Racing Team there in a very really cool liveried McLaren there. Old Axlin in Velocity Esports in P8. Jurglis for again Pulse Sim Sport in the Porsche in P9. P10 round up your top 10 is Andy Thorpe, getting hunted down by Shahibi there in 11th, and I'm sure that battle will continue for a little while. Let's actually stick with this. This is one of the closest battles we have on track as it stands. The McLaren versus Mercedes. Thorpe kind of being hunted down by the very kind of threatening Mercedes-Benz. And I'm sure it's filling its wing mirrors suitably as they go through turn 1. They're going to stay nip and tuck through 2 and 3. Can't really do anything through here. If you do, you're a bit of a madman. And this can be an overtaking opportunity to turn 4, but the nature of this track, it is sometimes just a one line through these corners, or one line only. You can't really make a move with slipstream or overspeed, as the Mercedes rightly stays tucked in underneath the rear wing of the McLaren. There might be an opportunity. They're going to go side by side into turns 6 and 7, and I think that is a move done for Shahibi, and very good move. Well built up, well planned as well, and he's been rewarded for his patience.
As now car 777 has got two 15-second penalties, so 30-second penalty for car 77. So that is Project X of the Project X cast of Godroid. So I assume that is for the incident where he was trying to unlap himself from the McLaren and just kind of clattered into the side of it. Yep. Running in 30th position at the moment. So not ideal day for them.
Not at all. They will be stuck down there in last place, I do reckon, after that penalty. And yes, all out fops. It's, I hate saying that word, it's moist. It's a very moist sandy, yes, absolutely. Zandvoort in the wet, definitely a challenge for these guys. A tricky track at the best of conditions, and throw in a bit of wet weather and wet tyres, and it always looks like you need Noah's Ark to get through here. It's absolutely insane. But these guys are somehow managing it, and yeah, with all these penalties though, you'll have to forgive us, because it isn't a reflection of how these guys have been racing throughout this race. There has been some consistent racing after that one, but that complete and utter calamitous turn 2 incident involving about half the field has got everyone a bit caught up with penalties, and we'll see the order chop and change come to pit stops.
We will indeed, as running a little bit wide goes Godoy in the 77 Ferrari.
Indeed he does. Let's drop back down the order a little bit. Let's go to Haram Racing. Alvin Brunquist catching Gus Peters here in what is P15 and P14, and I say that Alvin might have a run up the outside. No, can't get the traction. He drops back a little bit to the Mercedes-Benz car of Beechburg Dutch Hot Dog Racing Team. Oh, that's a team name, Jesus. Just computing that name, God. As they go down into last sector, penultimate turn, quite a somewhat fast right-hander, and then it is hope the car grips for a very long and kind of blind right-hander really. You have to be so patient to put the throttle on. 83 though has got a penalty. 30 seconds for car 83 as goes wide a little bit, gets it back onto the racing line.
And that is Rhino's Motorsport.
Rob
the 83.
It's now Rob Stamansky in the car, taken over from Julian Reinhardt. They have done their pit stop and will be their only enforced, should be their one and only pit stop for the race unless anything else happens. And sadly that time will be added to their finishing time at the end of the race if they don't take another pit stop.
As now, I mean, the question is, how much does Blomqvist want to push this? How much? This is a fight for overall 14th, but at the moment, Blomqvist is in an excellent position class-wise. He's got, well, everyone up the road from him. He's got the person in the class ahead of him has a 45-second penalty, and the person ahead of that has a 20-second penalty. So he's really in a great position here as the Mercedes runs wide, and that's going to give them Aston Martin an advantage on the tyre line out of turn 10. But the better traction again for the Mercedes on that back little straight bit there as we head into turn 11, has saved him into turn 11 there. Runs a bit deeper than the Aston Martin, goes a bit across the rumble strip, runs a little bit wide, but again is able to get the traction out of the corner there and is able to hold on to 14th position. But I believe a lot more consistent driving here from the Aston Martin, so I feel like it's only, well, it's not going to be long now until he gets past. It's just the question is, how conservative is he going to be in his overtake?
The thing is with that Aston, the gearing, especially on the lower gears, first and second, compared to everyone around him, are a little bit longer, and they do struggle to not put power down, but to accelerate out of corners. And I think that's where, for now, the Mercedes is holding its own. I expect this battle to trade backwards and forwards for another few laps, I reckon. But Bloomquist will have to try and figure out a way past. I say that. And then you see the Mercedes just gradually pull a gap upon acceleration.
And yes, just kind of putting about car lengths between them now as we head into turn 7 here. The Mercedes holding on to 14th position at the moment, with the McLaren right up behind as we go into turns 8 and 9 here. But the Mercedes driving very nicely at the moment. Aston Martin taking, it can afford to stay where it is at the moment. 54 minutes to go in this race, and it's very interesting to see them both. Both of them take very little lines there. The Mercedes taking a wider more fluent line around the corner, whereas the Mercedes, I mean, the Aston Martin goes for that tighter line, and it seems to bring them closer together. Well, but the Aston Martin is just unable to. Well, he's not fast enough yet to really find a place to overtake.
Sadly not, but that battle will continue for another 3 laps, I do think. Let's jump a bit more further down the order. Zach Silver hunting down Roger Scott here. Now this battle is for separate classes, and indeed AMs and the Silvers and the Pros are all free to race. But Zach Silver trying to find his way back up the order a little bit in the AM class. At the minute, this is P4. Well, I say that. He then gets to place on car number 9 as they dive into the pit lane. So that was a underwhelming battle. 423 has got a penalty. Christopher Bunek causing a collision. So something, of course, I don't think we quite have spotted, as he has now got 15 seconds to serve at his pit stop.
And also a very good position made up there for the Van Shambles Endurance Experts car, because they are only 16 points behind in the championship.
Indeed. Oh, yellow flag for Reino Reza, as we just see him rejoin at what is turn 4? I guess they're in. Oh, another yellow flag as well. That's Christopher Bunek. Stopped in the middle of the circuit. And he's going to try to do already a bit of an awkward 3-point turn. He has to be careful because there's traffic coming behind him. And he has to use the wall to help him round a little bit. Sort of give him a bit of damage. What happened to him there? There was a yellow flag for him. I wonder if... Oh, curb meets tyre, meets car spins. An unfortunate series of events. All out Fox, yes, there is a lot of red numbers. There, if you do get the chance to rewatch the stream, you will see why. Check out lap 1. There was an absolutely calamitous incident involving about half the field.
Would you like a stewarding update on why there's so many red numbers?
Yes, please.
Listen, Johnny. Bossman, all hail the Bossman.
I got down. I'm not working.
No, I thought because you probably wouldn't be able to see what all these were for, I would come in and give you an update on where we are with stewarding at the minute. So I'll quickly run through some of the bigger ones. So car 27's got a 30-second penalty for an incident on lap 1, just before the start-finish straight. I don't know if you caught that on stream. Car number 3 has got a 45-second penalty for causing that multi-car collision at the start. There is a 15-second penalty for car 79 for a bump pass, 15-second penalty for 114 for a bump pass, 15-second penalty for car 348, causing an unavoidable contact. 690 has also got a 15-second penalty for causing a collision, same with car 8. And then a couple of the big ones we've just give out. Car 777 has got a 30-second penalty for cutting the corner and causing a collision.
Yeah, we saw that on the stream, yeah, with the 777. Yeah. Was that the car trying to unlap themselves by any chance?
I believe so. Or he's missed his braking point.
Yeah,
and then the Rhinehouse boys, 83, got a 30-second penalty for same kind of incident, really. Just aiming for the apex. And getting a 30-second penalty for crashing into another car. And then we've got a couple more. We just give out 15 seconds for car 423 for spinning car 9, and we're just about to give out a 15-second penalty for car 690 because he collides with car 348. So there is your update.
Thank you very much. This is 690. Who's 690? You're making me look now.
Reza,
Reynard Reza, yeah. Bless him. A lot of drivers here struggling. I'm not sure if it's just Zandvoort or if it's just the conditions. I think Zandvoort at the best of times is a very difficult track, but the rain might not be helping.
No, absolutely. We are taking that into account, but I think drivers, from a stewarding point, drivers just need to take a breath and take their time with these things. You know, it's a long old race as well. They don't need to be rushing around and causing incidents. We know it's difficult to pass at Zandvoort, so yeah, but that's your stewarding update. I'm going to go back and into the stewarding box, and I'll catch you before the end of the race.
Have fun. I'm sure we'll keep yourself busy. But
cheers, guys.
On.
Thank you.
We were not worthy. Hail. No, I'm not gonna puff any more smoke up Johnny's. You know what?
But no, I agree definitely what he's saying though. It's a very Zandvoort at the best of times is a very hard overtaking circuit, and well, really, I think at the moment with these wet conditions as well, it's just a mixture of people driving maybe a bit too aggressively too early on, and it has led to some some pretty major incidents.
No, exactly. Blood Wolf NL on a driver swap too. Yes, there is a driver swap. It's the Team Endurance series, so we will
15 seconds now for 690 again.
Yeah, that was that's Jongan that we just said about. Spoke about. So
that's Reza in the Human Round Racing.
Yeah, that's Reza as they come into the pits. They're going to have to stop for 30 odd seconds for the pit stop, and also another 30 seconds for their penalty. So that will drop them down the order. But a lot of penalties here tonight. And again, live stewarding, catching up on all the incidents that are happening live as the race continues. And indeed, Zandvoort's a tricky track. Yeah, even in the dry, it's hard to try and get the braking lines right and put your car where you want it to be. And especially when you're following another car, such a narrow track, you don't have much room to manoeuvre around each other. So you can kind of understand from that point of view that the track itself probably isn't suited for overtaking, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for not colliding with another car. It is technically a non-contact sport for the purposes of not crashing into another cars, and that's how we do motor racing. That's how it's supposed to be done. But it happens. Mistakes happen, and you've got to but sometimes you just got to be held accountable for those mistakes.
I mean, it happens very easy, as example. We've seen today in the Fanatec GT World Challenge. We saw today the Mercedes fighting for the overall championship, taken out by one of the Audis into turn 11. So it can be done by absolutely anyone at this circuit.
Harry QRT says, "Don't make Johnny's head any bigger." I try not to. I try not to. It doesn't take much, bless him. But little taps aren't the end of the world in real life. In ACC in real life. In ACC on the other hand, yeah.
End of the world.
Big time, absolutely big time. Most notably, has Zaleki always had the 5-second penalty? Am I just missed that in the penalty kind of?
He got that quite early on in our little penalty flurry there for the last 10 minutes. He got it quite early on, but I think at the moment where he is in the field, it will be okay for his overall position. I don't think he'll be under threat from anyone else in his class.
No, not at all. Fops, I believe that's Trinket to Tass. Hello, Trinket. Lovely to have you in the chat. Small tap. I'll go bye. I could not agree with that statement even more. Hello. Let's stick with this. I'm glad I stuck with this battle because Shahibi hunting down Jurglis in the third Pulsing Sport drive we have in the race this evening. First and third and ninth currently for Pulsing Sport. So a good showing for these guys. Bearing in mind Shahibi's got a 25-second penalty to serve. He's going to still fight for every position that he can get, and rightly so. Still a race regardless of what penalties he may or may not have, and every position is there for the taking, and I think he wants to take this position for sure.
And I mean, the question is for Juglis, really. How hard do you want to defend this? The car behind you has a 25-second penalty, and they have the better pace, so you could just let them pass, follow them until they serve their pit stop, and then you've got clean track, and you don't really have to worry about them again because there'll be 25 seconds at least down the road.
Absolutely. without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, I've got to bear that in mind. But it's still a race, and they're still going to go for it. Chicken lips. Am I looking forward to the final Porsche Lambo Champ on Tuesday? I absolutely am. The final round of the Cup Sprint Series on Tuesday night. Myself and a wonderful Benderama, Ben Myatt himself, will be in the comments box bringing you all the action from the final round on Tuesday. Nothing tomorrow night, sadly. We have finished our Assetto Corsa season and we're taking a well-earned week's break. Bit of a social race, not streamed, and everyone is welcome to join whether you are involved or not in the AC seasons. If there's a space, you absolutely go for it. But I just thought I'd pop up on my bottom of my screen. Car 44 has got a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. James Wood, the team of Blurred Vision, will have to serve a drive-through because they were a little bit too fast in and out of the pit lane.
And just yet another penalty to add to this race at the moment. He's currently running down in 29th position in the Lamborghini. Not really too many of them in this field today compared to some others. But it's nice to see it get represented, and it is probably one of my favourite sounding sports cars in the game. Sounds absolutely beautiful.
Am I going to miss the pony livery? Wait till you... No. We've Tom, if you don't know, if you haven't seen the streams, bit of context, there's a livery in the Tuesday series where it is literally a pink car with a pony.
Okay. That sounds cool. Running wide goes Crook across the gravel of turn 12, and very tricky section to rejoin without getting in anyone's way, but he's found a gap in the traffic there, and he is underway back onto the circuit. Hopefully not too much time lost there, but is already down in 29th position here. But yeah, no, back to the unicorn. Why would you not want a unicorn? It's a unicorn. Unicorn adds speed, like rainbow power.
God, I wish I didn't open this minefield of livery discussion. Car 44 still got his drive-through to serve. It's just picking up on the bottom of your screen again. So it's just a reminder that he's still got 2 laps to serve. We do have some people pitting. We just had Team LFM pit, and now take over the curve from Durkop is Jonathan Seville. Thank God, an easier name just to pronounce. As exits pit lane in that. McLaren Thorpe also making a pit stop. There was another car that pit stop. Son Angel, who comes out and into P7, who's also took to the pits and made a driver change. Now driving is Dexter Cray in the Cronus Racing team car of that McLaren.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was about to say, I must admit, if there is a favourite livery competition, this is definitely one of my contenders.
It definitely looks very nice. And what I was going to say about the pit stop of Seville, as runs a bit wide there, the McLaren across the grass, but very luckily he's been able to hold it around turn 7 there. But back to what I was saying, Seville, it looked like he came out in a decent place traffic-wise there. I had who were we following again? We had the Lamborghini up ahead of him, but it was able to dispatch of them very quickly. So now maybe in a decent place for traffic, might be able to make some inroads in towards Watson as McLaren gets very screwy out of turn 10 there across the outside grass, but luckily is in a decent bit of the circuit, bit of space there, so hasn't lost out from that tiny mistake.
Side note, our leaders have pitted. Austin comes out, and now it is Ashley Coupland in the car from Leighton Austin. Andy Thorpe is also in the pits, and there will be a driver change for him in due course for the Team oNiD Racing McLaren there, as that Porsche, who's that Porsche? That is, I can't quite tell, it's one of the back markers that just come out of the pits, and I believe That was Lindblom. There is yellow flag though. Oh no, sorry, I do stand corrected. It was Nate Allen coming out of the pits. It's now Marco L in that Porsche. Got me a little bit excited there because they were showing his yellow flag. It was only because they were exiting the pit lane and was driving a little bit slowly. Has the Team oNiD car come out
Stack in the oNiD Racing a couple of car, the 610 car, even with that 5-second penalty, it has come out in the lead of the silver category. So that has not affected them too much in this race. They are in a bit of traffic here, but Sherlock is the only car ahead. It has a penalty to serve, so the McLaren just needs to continue how it's going and try and stay out some incidents. As we've seen today, a lot of cars with penalties, so as long as you stay out of contact or any sort of instance with anyone else, you should hopefully be able to hold on as long as you've got the pace as well.
oNiD Dave Zawacki in the Twitch chat, sweating out of my mind. You did have a very sweaty stint, I must admit. You did good, I think, if you hand off the car in a good position, so you've done all right, you've done fine. But wonderful, that was lovely to have you. And Matt Holman, OMFG, that was horrendous. It's Zandvoort in the wet. What else would you expect? I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, guys, gosh.
Oh my god.
Drive-through penalty for car 44. Who is that in the field?
That's drive-through.
Oh, blurred vision. Cleared. Sorry.
It's cleared. It's cleared.
Sorry, I misread it. Sorry, that is my bad. I apologise, everyone.
Chest. Right. So, 37 minutes to go. Current leaders at the minute is Ollie Knowles in the prototypo car, who's going to dive for the pit lane and will drop down the order, no doubt. Shahibi's currently in second, probably extending his stint as much as he can to minimise the impact of that 25-second penalty that he will have to take at the pit stop.
Maybe hoping for another, quite massive instance, so maybe a 25-second penalty isn't as harsh, but I mean, that could be it seems unlikely at the moment, but we are in wet conditions here at Zandvoort, so it could, you never know what could happen.
Matt Holman says that Aston in Sector 3 absolutely tanks. Yes, we did mention that when you were not sure if it was you, Mr. Holman, but there was a couple of Astons fighting in Sector 3 with other cars around them, and it just bogged down on acceleration. I think it's that first and second gear, it's just a bit too long and a bit too top speedy. It needs to be a bit more punch to it. It needs to have a little bit more acceleration and to focus on the top speed of the gear. So, and that's all the technical stuff you're ever going to get out of me. That's as technical as I get. So, anything else, you go and find a setup or something. Well, I'm not going to be able to help you. As we see, he's still out on the lead, 25-second penalty, and I believe he is the only car left not to have yet taken a pit stop.
I mean, Shabi has been really pushing, as you've been talking at the moment. He's been very squirrely around, nearly every corner around this circuit. It's that he's pushing that Mercedes for everything he's got to just try and eke out some advantage, to just try and kind of minimise the impact of that 25-second penalty. But it's a very big penalty, so he's just going to have to continue pushing on. But as he continues pushing, those tyres are going to just get worse and worse. But maybe just trying to push, hoping the circuit might get a bit drier. Potentially.
Now I've got a back marker of Reinhardt's Motorsports. That's Rob Semanska ahead of him, and Rob will be keen to give him the place, and indeed he does. Very aware driver is Rob. So is Duran in his defence, but Rob does get out of the way and lets the leader through. What's happening up and down the field? Let's have a look. Let's drop down to the midfield. Marcus Hagel now driving the third Pulsar Sport car in that Porsche. Is that the old Porsche? Is that the new Porsche? That is the new Porsche. car 54 hunting down Nick Cooper, car 88 in the BMW, as we are now on board with the rear wing, as we see Hagel trying to catch up with Cooper. Ahead though, there is a battle. Cray and Jelinek, and Hagel does make the move at the very last minute, as in the background we cut away from it, as Dexter Cray struggling a little bit, lost the position to Jelinek, and is now immediately being swarmed by the Pulse Sport car.
Cray obviously not liking these wet conditions after the driver swap, but still a long way to go. 33 minutes to go in this race. A lot of time to still bed in for the McLaren there, and seems to be finding some pace now as we coming to turn 8 here. So hopefully can hold on, but it's running a little bit wider through some sections as the Porsche is was taking a bit more of a tighter line through there as we come out of turn 9 now.
Up ahead, we do have a battle with Noel Deutsch and Peter Jelinek. This is a cluster of cars here from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, all wanting to try and capitalise on each other's mistakes potentially. There's a bit of a Deutsch train forming.
There is indeed, and I mean, there's a lot of cars in this battle at the moment. We've got a Porsche, an Aston Martin, a McLaren, another Porsche, and what's that behind? Another a BMW, and then another Aston Martin. It's just, there's a whole gaggle of cars here as the Porsche looks to the inside of the McLaren, but decides against it, goes back to the racing line here as we go through turn 1. Deutsch running a little bit wide as we switch to Harris. Sorry, and we're back with Deutsch and Jelinek in the Aston Martin. And at the moment Deutsch being just holding on, but doing a very good job in the amateur class car to be holding off a lot of competition here from the pro class runners at the moment, as we head now up towards through turn 6 there, now into turn 7, and they are running very well indeed, but he has to deal with the pressure from behind from that Aston Martin. That Aston Martin really wants to get the move done, taking the tighter line through turn 8 there, and really Deutsch has to think where is he faster and where he has to defend. It's down the inside now goes Angle on Cooper, pushing the McLaren out wide, but the McLaren of the McLaren of Cray, I mean, it's going to have the inside, and he's pushed the Porsche out wide there, on just tapping the rear left hand side of the Porsche there, and that's left them now side by side as we go into turn 11 here. Can the McLaren run it around the outside here? Very good racing with both of them, millimeters separating them, and the McLaren's going to have the inside line, pushing the Porsche a little bit wide there mid corner, and that's let Cray hold on to the position.
Harsh but fair battle there, a bit of door banging through that final sector, but both drivers giving them enough space to navigate around the circuit, and indeed for now Cray getting the better of the Pulse Sport driver of Hagel.
As Hagel, will he have a look into turn 1? He has a BMW up behind as well that looks pretty interesting in getting past, as the McLaren runs a little bit wider than the Porsche through there, but it seems to get a better exit, more traction than the Porsche out of there, but little separating them. But this isn't really a section you can overtake unless the McLaren runs a little bit wide, which lets the Porsche go around the outside. The Pulse Sim Sport Porsche is going to try and set it around the outside, but the McLaren on the inside line, that tyre line, is able to pull out of the corner just ahead, park the car in front of the Porsche, and that's allowed the McLaren of Cray to stay ahead in this battle at the moment.
Cosmic LMAO accidentally changed brakes at the pit stop, and your teammate's not very happy about it. Please do inform us who your teammate is and what your team is, so we can keep an eye on them and say try and battle the bad choice of brakes. Bless you.
And again,
look on the inside and almost makes contact with McLaren. They both get away with it, and there's a massive slide and acceleration from the Porsche, and it falls back into line. But then that BMW in the background, got front row seats to this. I bet he's loving this. That's the driver of I think that's a back marker, I do believe. Hagel is trying to get around Cray. Oh no, that's Cooper, I do apologise. Car 88 of the Velocity Sim Sport. He's got front row seats to this battle, and will definitely be able to take any opportunity that comes of this battle as they do make contact. And I say that, Cooper's now going to have a look up the inside of the Pulse Sim Sport driver, but I think's better of it, backs out the move.
I mean, it's only a lap car behind Cooper at the moment, so he doesn't really have to defend from him. He is actually down the straight, though. Moving to the second. It's down the inside now. Goes Jelinek on Deutsch, and he's got the move done on the inside there at turn 1. A great move from Jelinek now, and now has to try and stretch his legs and get away from Deutsch, but Deutsch does not have to fight this really. He's the amateur leader at the moment, so just kind of, as long as he follows the Aston Martin and maybe breaks away from the other lot as well, that could be quite helpful.
Absolutely, the gap has been made, about a 1 second gap now between him and the Porsche. The Porsche is very deep.
Did he
and loses
it? He's back to the inside.
And it's he almost
stuck it on the racing line. The McLaren goes off of Cray as well, but I think just about didn't lose any positions there. But that was our leader in the class of amateurs there, the amateur class. And that has let Cooper through, and he is now the leader. We're talking about Cooper staying behind Cray and Angle, looking for an opportunity. He didn't need to worry about them making a mistake, as Deutsch has gone off into turn 7.
Absolutely fantastic for Cooper. Commiserations to Deutsch. He's going to be kicking himself for what looked to be just a simple out-braking mistake, and got his car into the sand pit, and then Porsche says, no, I don't like that, sir. I'm going to spin.
Desperately unlucky. Some great pace shown from that car today, but still 27 minutes to go in this race, but a lot of work to do if they really want to try and challenge Cooper, who is quite far up the road now, as now we are with Hangle. Still fighting with Cray for 6th position now, and not able to make the move down the inside. Cooper is there as well, taking a much lighter line, maybe out-braking himself a bit there, but doesn't have to worry too much about the 2 cars behind him, as they are a lap down, so he can just let these guys ahead, fight it out, and while they are taking it very aggressively, Cray and Hangle here, so if they make a mistake, it's an easy position for Cooper.
Absolutely, folks. The weather conditions are forecast to stay wet for the rest of the race. We have had, will have 90 minutes of wet weather racing, and that has proved to be absolute catalyst for the events that have happened here tonight. They're going to go side by side. They door bang as they go through into turn 7, and Cray goes wide, loses momentum, gives the place to Hagel, and now Cooper is now within earshot of this battle as the Sim Sport driver of Marcus Hagel now is leading this little pack of cars. Can he get clear? Cray still hanging on in there, but Cooper also making inroads into this battle as well, so it will soon become a 3-way battle for 6th position.
I think Hagel will start to maybe break away now. He seemed to have to pace for a very long time on that McLaren. He just couldn't find the way past. So I think now, as we see it now, there's already around maybe like two car lengths between the both of them. So I feel like at the moment, as the McLaren runs a bit across the grass there on the exit of the final corner, so I think now the Porsche is just going to start to break away from the McLaren, because I think he has been the faster driver out of the 2 of them, and now Cray has to worry about Cooper up behind. But Cooper, we saw him kind of go up the inside of the Porsche earlier and then back out of it, so I think like he's going to be very conservative in his overtaking. He's currently leading the class, so doesn't have to fight this at all, so can just happily stay behind Cray, and I think that's what he might do from judging from earlier circumstances.
Right, I am going to check in with our leaders, because Peter Brett, Pulse Sim Sport, is leading the race, but Team LFM, Jonathan Seville, P2, 1 second is the gap to 1st and 2nd.
And this would be the McLaren team's 2nd win of the season after their win at round 2 at Alton Park. So a very quick set of drivers in that McLaren. So Brett needs to hold on. Normally we have Dixon in that car, so Brett, I think, new to that car, so will be interesting to see if he can hold on to take his first win of the season.
Absolutely. Wet conditions to that Ferrari might not be suiting them completely, but they are still quick in that car. And they have been quick all season, Pulse Motorsport, and is a regular top contender in many of our series here at oNiD. And really kind of now falling under pressure from the LFM driver of Jonathan Seville. Can't quite do anything about it yet though. Have to hang fire for now and try and push forward. There is a potential incident with Nick Cooper further down the order though, showing as a white flag, car number 88, going slowly ever so briefly, but has rejoined back up to racing speed, potentially got caught up with a car, although there is a yellow flag for Ryan Sherlock. Car 119, oNiD Racing Stronger. What happened to you, good sir? I think we can find out. He's just driving slowly offline.
Yeah, just letting the two faster leaders through, I think, there.
Well, that is very underwhelming. As Martin Thorpe makes a move alongside, that was Andrew Hearn.
Very nicely done indeed, and still in the top 10 after that 25-second penalty. So looking like that longer strategy there worked out for them, trying to run a little bit longer and make some strides, so their penalty wasn't as hefty. As now this gap has come right down now, maybe just such little separating them now, as less than a second between them as we head into turn 7 here. McLaren taking the tyre line, and now that puts the Ferrari under a lot of pressure. Is the McLaren going to look to the inside? No, but he's just letting him know, I am there, I want first position, and it's only going to be a matter of time before I take what is rightfully mine as we head towards turn 10 here.
Dear God, I would imagine he's thinking that, but wow, that's a very strong word and thoughts there, I must admit. No, I'm joking. No, not at all. I absolutely agree with you, and for sure, absolutely. As we will jump on board with the McLaren driver. I love that. That's brilliant. Jonathan really hounding in on this race. You can see the Ferrari is quite unstable and turning in a couple of corners. The rear stepping out a little bit, wanting to slide through the apexes, but the McLaren, being such a stable car, especially in these wet conditions, is really favouring getting the times in and just being stable and having quite a quick package to deal with this wet weather. And
Brett is stepping in for Dixon as well, so maybe I don't believe he's raced yet in this series, so obviously didn't experience wet conditions last time out as well, so a lot maybe to learn on his debut.
Yep, absolutely. And what a way to be introduced to the series, then having to take the car off your teammate in a lead position and then have to almost kind of defend really for all your life against what could be potentially the quicker driver. I think at this stage is the quicker driver in Jonathan versus Peter, but you can be quicker than the car in front, but it's all about trying to get past the car with the pace you have. And at this point in time, Brett is kind of being a bit of a proverbial bus here, making his car as wide as possible with a rolling roadblock to prevent Jonathan making a move. And for now, it's working in his favour. He does have traffic coming up though that might hinder him if he can't either find an opportune moment to get past the traffic, or if the traffic does indeed, just for whatever reason, hold him up. And I believe that is Sam Page, or the team of Sam Page. I don't think it's Sam Page driving, so I think he's coming out of the car. He goes very well, and so does Ferrari as well.
And that's going to give the McLaren a chance onto the straight now. Saying the tyre line going to be holding more momentum as we head onto the straight. And the Ferrari is going to be as wide as a boat here at Zandvoort. Actually, I thought the McLaren would be a lot closer here. When he darts to the inside, he does. He looks, but then goes back to the inside. Still just letting him know he's there. As the McLaren is right on the bumper. He's just sitting there on the back of the Ferrari. Gets a bit squirrely out the exit of turn 1 as we head into turn 3 here. and just, yeah, still applying that pressure, just not letting the Ferrari get away. Takes a wider line to maybe take a tight exit than the Ferrari. But again, just McLaren just sitting there, can buy his time. Still 18 minutes to go in this race. Well, it's more than 18 minutes to go in this race. So just maybe just apply the pressure on the Ferrari and wait for them to make a mistake.
Well, let's just take note of the steering inputs of the video. I say that, take note of the steering inputs. They have been relatively smooth from the McLaren. Let's jump on, see if we can't quite see the steering inputs from the Ferrari, sadly, with the way the cameras are positioned, but I was going to see if we can just briefly compare the two. So I think you can see in the car, just on track, that the Ferrari is a little bit more twitchy at places than the McLaren. That could be giving cause for this for the Ferrari not being able to completely pull away. The next,
and I did. Oh, sorry. I was going to say as well, just on that note, I feel like the Ferrari, has been struggling a lot more through turn 7. Seems to be taking a lot wider line, which loses it a lot of speed through that section and then puts it under a lot of pressure from the McLaren into turn 8. But luckily for the Ferrari, at that section of the circuit, very hard to make an overtake.
Yeah, absolutely. Only a couple of places you can make a move with these cars, and I have a feeling that if the McLaren gets a run, he might have a fantasy up the inside, makes a kind of half dive move to the inside and immediately decides not to go for it. Maybe just trying to, in the words of our wonderful Johnny Ash, do the mind pump.
Yes.
Psych out your opposition.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. He's just kind of knocking on the door as he skates. Great race, really, there. Out of turn at free there. Got the back end right out there. And now that's let the Ferrari kind of extend that gap again. And through this section now where the Ferrari struggles a bit more than the McLaren, that's going to really help it out at the moment. And what I was going to say, literally at the moment, the McLaren is just there knocking on the door, kind of just being like, hello, I am here. As the Ferrari as well gets very drifty there out of turn 8. And now into turn 9, that gap is closed right up after the McLaren's drifty moment. So they're right back to where they were at the start of the lap. And now the Ferrari again has to think about, I can't let that McLaren behind past at all.
Absolutely. I do see if there's anything done into the first time, so I do want to give some attention to some battles happening up and down the field. But this is battle for the lead, and just conscious that I don't want to leave out anyone else. He has some fantastic battles again happening up and down the field as well. We'll see. Oh, Ferrari, it's very slidey through the last turn. I think that's going to give a reason.
I do as well.
Seville to have a look up the inside of turn 1. He's gaining slowly but not quick enough. He's going to have a look up the inside later on the brakes. Can't do anything about it. It's covered off by the Ferrari.
That's the thing, for these much faster sections. Oh, the McLaren runs wide out the exit of turn 1 there and goes across the gravel trap, and that's, again, just little mistakes from Seville. Keeps losing him just little bits of time to that Ferrari and gives him less and less time to make this overtake happen with 15 minutes to go. Well, 15 minutes and a half to go. That McLaren needs to be a bit more consistent, because the Ferrari at the moment, he's there. It is the McLaren's race to, I think the McLaren's race to lose. It has, I think, the better pace at the moment, but just needs to be a little bit more consistent and make sure he keeps knocking on the door there.
Quarter of an hour to go. Brett, your current leader, Seville, Coupland, Snack, Jenlick, Hegel, Cray, Cooper, Doige and Thorpe, your current top 10.
Haribo, Penguin in
massive moment from the McLaren!
What was there? A massive slide there from the McLaren.
Oh, I thought he lost it. I honestly thought he lost it. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. That
no
was
worries.
Sideways on the exit.
If I could, I'd give both these drivers a round of applause. They are pushing for everything here for the win in round 4 of the oNiD Ultimate Team Endurance Championship. And it's just everything. It means everything to them, this race. They want this as much as anything. as now a slow Lamborghini gets in the way of the Ferrari, gives the slipstream to the McLaren, and this gives the McLaren a great opportunity down the straight as we're 3 wide. The McLaren to the outside into turn 1, tries to be low on the brakes, cuts into the corner, tries to hang it around the outside of the Ferrari. The Ferrari holds on, pushes the McLaren out wide. Is the McLaren still there? No, he is not. The Ferrari holds on. Brett, in a great defensive foul in the 52, Ferrari here is holding that McLaren at bay.
What incredible racing. Poor timing for the leader with that back marker. The back marker can't exactly move out of the way at such a point in the track. And that's what happens when you do racing like this. There's so many cars on track, you will trip over someone eventually. And unfortunately, that happens for the Ferrari there of Peter Brett. Got caught out there, lost momentum, but had to defend harshly against the McLaren. Hard racing, but clean and fair. They both continue and to live to see another day. 13.5 minutes to go.
This is fantastic at the moment. 2 brilliant drivers fighting for the pro class and overall victory here. And, well, you just can't take your eyes off of it. It's just unbelievable battling between these two.
Without a shadow of a doubt. There is a battle for 15th and 16th. Van Oom and Harris, they are both going at it, and I'm currently side by side, I do believe. And I think Harris has just got the better of Denny Van Oom for 16th position, which is 5th in the silver class. Lindblom, though, falling down the order. That's a yellow flag. And that is a pro driver, sadly, losing out a couple of positions.
And 7 there.
Yeah, so 18th to 20th. And he will no doubt continue and try and get those places back. Martin Thorpe catching Deutsch here for position potentially. Oh, tries to have a look up inside. I'm jumping back to lead. I do apologise, folks.
It's no worries.
This lead battle is again completely just absolutely
breathtaking.
Yeah, literally. I'm not often lost for words, and on this occasion, this battle is just being absolutely incredible. To and fro from both of them, and even if there is a run-up from this battle, I think both drivers can be really, really proud of their performance today. Such great fighting. Harsh fighting, yes, but clean. They have been respectful and they have been absolutely on point. We've given them enough space to lean on each other, try and get around each other, and fight in the best way possible. And that's all we can ask for. And these guys are absolutely proving that can be done at such a track as such a track as Zandvoort, and also in these tricky wet conditions as well.
It's just so impressive watching these two. I'm in absolute awe of the driving that we are seeing at the moment, and so is the chat at the moment. Haribo Penguin, this lead battle is great. Chicken Lips, this is fantastic. It is fantastic. It's exceptional racing. It's just great. But at the moment, I think Brett has found some pace here at the moment, as the McLaren doesn't seem as fast, but he's still very much pushing as he slides along the outside grass of the final corner there. But at the moment, the Ferrari is just still holding on. The Sim Sport car is holding on to the lead, the 52 car.
Indeed. Yellow flag for Buddy Beavervic. That's a massive crash, and there's another car collected as well. That's Marco L collected.
And our lead battle isn't too far away from this, but look, I think they're just far enough back, and Habibovic is just now off the circuit, out of the way. So, well, that is disastrous, but now, oh my goodness, now there is the McLaren sideways on the circuit, but still luckily out of the way. Hopefully no one fighting coming up to this section. It's very dangerous space. There's the leaders, as I can hear another car, and he's just on the race circuit still. Have they got away? Yes, they have. So, oh my goodness gracious me, that was very close. The Haram Racing car, they're going to have probably quite a large amount of damage. Let's go to a replay. So they're fighting with Porsche. Wait, was it the curb, or did they have a push from behind from that Porsche?
It was absolutely the curb. Oh. We've seen that before. It's happened a couple of times with a couple other cars. It's ride that curb way too hard and they jump into the wall.
I mean, he was really sent straight to the scene of quite a heavy accident.
Yeah.
Is now just trying to move out the way.
So much damage on that Aston. It's horrible, bless them. Car 777 was also involved in that, and he has found a pit lane. Innocent party there, I think, couldn't get out of the way in time. I don't think he would have been able to get out of the way. But we'll go back to our lead battle. Seville.
Just want to say 77, that is our Project X car, as Seville looks to the inside there, and I'll let you continue.
Sadly can't do anything about it, as these guys will fight, I think, continuously to the end. Just under 9 minutes to go of what has been a fantastic, topsy-turvy, wet, and just fantastic race, full of thrills and spills, penalties galore from what was a awful turn one incident, and has been some questionable overtakes. Our live stewarding team have remained on point for the whole evening. We do thank them for dropping by, as well, Johnny as well, for dropping by and explaining to us the reasoning for those penalties. It did seem to be quite a lot, but there were reasons for it, and indeed our stewarding team was on point with that tonight. So thank you very much, guys. It's much appreciated, and this battle will just incredible. These guys, they are hanging out with each other, getting side by side, fighting, and keeping each other honest, but at the same time they're keeping it clean, they're keeping it fair, and I'm sure we'll be thoroughly entertained for the last 7 3/4 minutes of this 90-minute race.
And the thing is as well, both these cars in a good position championship wise now, because championship leaders Fred Bull Racing are not here, and actually the car ahead is the one that's going to gain the most from that.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that does create the question, do you want to give up the position for... Alright, so it goes up the inside the McLaren there out of turn 1, but does the Ferrari better traction, holds on to position. The McLaren very hooked up well around this section of the circuit, but the Ferrari knows where it's going. Defends the inside every time into turn 3 there, so the McLaren cannot take advantage. And again, that is what is benefiting the Ferrari here. It's a tight circuit, and Brett is driving an absolute defensive masterclass.
He is indeed. Apparently there was contact from behind from that Aston Martin, and we might have just missed it. I think all we saw was them hitting the curb, so potential...
I do think the Porsche did. There was a little bit of contact from the Porsche from behind, which sent it straight on.
That's probably what happened then, as I'm sure the stewards will take a keen look into that in the closing and dying moments of this race. 6.5 minutes to go, but we are being spoilt with this lead battle. Is it going to be Brett? Is it going to be Seville? Or how? We'll find out in just under 6.5 minutes time.
I mean, both cars have a win this year. Brett himself does not, but I mean, they're both fighting for this, both for team-wise, second win of the year. What am I on about? Second win of the season for them. And, well, both of them, you can see they want it. They desperately want it as we head through the final sections of the corners. But the McLaren seems to have the pace through the most section of the circuit, but just can't take advantage anywhere, because the Ferrari on this tight circuit of defensive, or just brilliant defensive driving from Brett, has just stopped the McLaren taking advantage of its superior pace.
In the middle sector, indeed, the McLaren absolutely owns it. But the middle sector is just one line. You can have the quicker car, absolutely, but you can't put it anywhere. And
I think he's so... Oh, sorry. I think he's really quick for this first sector as well, because that is when Brett's driving. He's and there was a bit of contact to the rear there, which sent the Ferrari sideways to the inside. But luckily, he was able to catch it and carry on going. But it's going to have to defend quite a bit down here now, because the Ferrari is going to... No, the McLaren is going to have a lot of pace here.
Indeed, it is. It's renowned for being the car of downforce. For this middle sector, it can just stick to the track like it's no one's business. But again, it's just the fact that it is one line through these corners. If you try and get alongside, you absolutely risk a crash. Although they're going to try and look up the inside as the Ferrari keeps it stuck on the inside, plants it on the apex, and says to Jonathan, no, you're not coming through there. Although Jonathan now has the slipstream, Ferrari's going to have to go defensive in the final chicane. They're going to go side by side on the brakes. So on the outside, can he hang it around the outside? The outside will then become the inside. And is that going to be moved done? They're going to go side by side on the exit, and that is a change for the lead.
A great move there by Seville, going to the outside, then knowing he'd have the inside for the next section, and that is move done. But Brett probably doesn't want to lose this lead, and he will carry on pushing. There's a 5-second penalty now for 8-2-3. That's Lindblom in the Porsche.
Indeed, bad to worse with Daniel, and he'll drop down the order at the end of the race, sadly. Might lose about 1 or 2 positions, but Seville is your new race leader. Pulse Sim Sport 2 and 3 for this race this year. It's still a fantastic result and will make a big dent in the championship standings. But the headline is Peter Brett drops to second. Seville is your new race leader in the dying moments of this race. That's Julian Reinars, sadly having a spin, waiting for a gap to rejoin, and indeed he does so. Seville leads the race for the final 3.5 minutes.
A lot can still happen though. We've seen everything. We've seen penalties, we've seen crashes, we've seen fantastic racing. So anything can still happen in these final 3 minutes of the race now. As 15-second penalty for the Astra 83 car. Is very scrutty there was Seville. So showing literally what I just said. Anything can still happen because he's obviously still pushing very hard for this race win.
He is indeed. Rob Samanska getting that car 83 penalty, sadly, and I do believe that's now nearer 30 seconds or 45 seconds now to add it to the end race time for Team Reinhardt Motorsports. Paul Cumber, sadly, having a bit of an incident and dropping down the order to Marco L.
Looked like he had a lot of damage on the front end as well.
Does Audi's very poorly. 2.5 minutes to go. The gap between P1 and P2 is now 1.5 seconds. 5 second penalty for D Hurst. 5-5-1. Wonder what caused that. Obviously we might have missed that from watching the lead battle. But what a battle it was. And I think it was more of the case of it was a metaphorical Peter Brett kind of cork in the ever fizzing bottle of champagne. It was bound to go pop at some point, and indeed it did.
It did indeed. As now, well, we see Seville show 5-7 penalty for the 45 car now. So our Christmas tree is lining up again. 45 car. So that is Mella in the Ferrari.
That is P6 in the silvers. So
Blurred Vision Racing 2.0.
Indeed, he'll potentially be able to keep 19th. So 20th is 13 seconds behind him, and also 20th has got a 5-second penalty anyway, so it's kind of just null-voided it basically.
Oh, to the inside there was the car spinning to the inside of blue McLaren. Yeah,
Luminia, Team Relentless, gets out of the way of the leaders, but because the leaders have been battling, who is that? Oh, it is second place, going sadly wide and losing a lot of time there to the leader. And yeah, Jonathan's just completely checked out and will now come across the line for the penultimate time, should I say. He will now go on to the final lap of this race, and what a race it has been, folks. It has been Pulse Sim Sport all evening up until the dying moments, where Jonathan was able to close the gap to the race lead. Might have took him a while, and indeed was challenging from about 25 minutes left on the clock, and it was a valiant defence from Peter. But all good things must come to an end for Pulse Sim Sport. Wins all around for the Pulse Sim Sport team, and they have been very dominant. But on this occasion, Jonathan is leading the way and is now on the final lap.
As Mella gets another 2 15-second penalties there. Is that for Mella? Yeah.
It is indeed, and that actually gives the position to Hurst and potentially to Oak as well. His car off in the background, that is Chris Crook, sadly your last place racer in that Lamborghini. Horan and Harris fighting it out at the dying moments of the race. Again, these guys have got penalties all around them. Hagel though, late move from Hagel up into 4th place. Pulse Sim Sport 4th, 3rd and 2nd now.
A very good result for them, but still not going to be what they wanted. They probably wanted that win, but it's going to this person here. Seville has driven to perfection, drive through 483, but he's driven to perfection here, and is now just going through the final couple of corners to bring it home for the 255 McLaren team. It's been a great drive. Amazing overtake from him to take the race win, and he takes round 4 of the oNiD Ultimate Team Endurance Championship 2023. A great win for Seville.
Superb. Seville takes your win for round 4 this evening. Brett comes home to take P2. A fantastic, valiant effort and a valiant defence for the last 20 or 25 minutes, but sadly could not keep the car ahead. Was overtaken by a fantastic move by Jonathan. Coupland will come home for the final podium position in P3. Hagel, a fantastic comeback drive for the Porsche Pulse SimSport driver. Starboy is now following. Thank you very much in the dying closing moments of this race. Pleasure to have you. Thank you for the follow. It is wonderful to have you. Please watch back the stream. You have missed an hour and a half worth of fantastic upsy-turvy, top-down, words can't make sense kind of racing, as Hagel does come across the line. P4 for the third Pulse SimSport driver. Second, third and fourth for the team. Stack closely follows in fifth. Peter
Winning the
Jelic,
silver class, might I add, sorry.
a lead, yes. Stack winner of the silver class as well for Jelic. Sorry, it's just Stack, should I say. Jelic in sixth. Cray will come across the line in seventh. And not too far behind, the winner of the AM class is Nick Cooper in the BMW, overall 8th position. Congratulations to Nick Cooper. Thorpe will come 9th. 10th will be Noel Deutsch in second for the AMS class. And the last person to come across the line is Andrew Hearn. Everyone else is seeing the checkered flag for being a lap down. And that, folks, was